Finally awake for a stream, you say? What's up, Grilled? How's it going? What's up? I'm sure you probably saw in the server, but I did a nice little tournament in Phantasy Star. And I've just been... it took so long to prepare for that. Chillin'. Hell yeah. Well, for me, other than that tournament, which was like yesterday and the day before, it was like a 2-day thing. Nothing else. I've been relaxing after all that. I've just been chilling. And I actually really wanted to stream Yakuza today, but I also did kind of want to go through the tournament stuff. To sort of review it. That way I just have something about it, you know? Know what I mean? Did the notification go through? Yeah, it did. Okay, cool. But, I still intend on doing morning streams, by the way. They will just be... I don't know, it kind of depends on the day. Because I didn't do it, I think, Thursday and Friday. And then, and I just relaxed. I just relaxed for a good bit. But I still fully intend on doing them. I just gotta wait a little bit, you know? Right now I'm just making sure everything is set up. I got my setup all weird because I have, well, I have to show the footage. So I have to get that up and running too. I just hope this works properly. Okay. But yeah, if you're unfamiliar, Phantasy Star is like a, I think it's technically considered an MMO. There's the base game, which went on for about 10 years. And there's NGS, which is like a, not an expansion. It's a whole new game, but it's connected to the base game. And that's where the Linestrike Tournament took place. Linestrike in itself is like a card game thing. All happens in-game. It's actually really cool. I'm a huge fan of card games. I haven't played anything like Magic, or correction, I have played Magic, but not as extensively as something like Yu-Gi-Oh! Yu-Gi-Oh! I used to play like crazy. But I haven't done that in forever. Actually, hold on. Let me look at my Steam. When was the last time I played Master Duel? I'm gonna check that out real quick. Right, Yu-Gi-Oh! Yeah, Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel. Let's see. Oh my god. Last time I played Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel, February 26, 2023. That was the last time I played Yu-Gi-Oh! Jesus Christ. Yeah, trading card game-wise, Yu-Gi-Oh! Was my game. That was what I would play. But now, if we're talking about like just card games or like adjacent stuff, I guess, not really trading card games. I did play, or I still play, a lot of poker. Mostly gambling related stuff, even though I would gamble with fake money, like play money in Vegas Infinite. But that would be things like poker, occasionally blackjack. I don't really like blackjack that much. I would do a few tournaments in Vegas Infinite. Actually, I wished, man, I really wish I recorded this. But there was one time in Vegas Infinite, this is completely off topic to what the stream's supposed to be about, but in Vegas Infinite, there was a tournament. It was 8 separate tournaments, and the winner of each one will compete in the final table. Whoever's the winner of that gets a trip to Vegas. Like, all expenses paid trip to Vegas, and you were able to participate in the North American Poker Tour. I participated in all 8 of those tournaments, and got... Well, keep in mind, there's like 1,000 people participating. I got top 100 every time I participated. And I kept getting closer and closer to top 10. Or top 8. I think the closest I got, which I might have wrote down because I was genuinely like really happy with my ranking, because that was the first time I had ever participated in any tournament. Where did I write it down? Don't tell me it's lost. Oh no. Is it lost? I lost it. Alright, that's saddening. Where is it? No, it's gotta be here, man. I wrote it somewhere. It's somewhere, but I remember it was... like, I was a table behind, so it was somewhere between, like, 16 and... I'm gonna say, like, 16 to 24. Like, I was really close to making it to the final table, and then eventually moving on to the final table. But yeah, that's about my experience with card games or gambling games. Oh, and Mahjong. I've done a few very small tournaments for Mahjong. I've won one of them. There were like one player, two player, or no, not player, single elimination, I meant. But they had 32. I think 32 to 34 players, or something like that. But yeah, anyway. That's about my experience with tournament play related stuff and everything else. So that's kind of what I was using, sort of. It was like my reference when I eventually played these games. But yeah, moving on to Phantasy Star, which I likely won't even... I'll just have this as like the background. It won't even be all that important. But yeah, this is what my character looks like. Oh, Jesus. I did not mean to move you. Oh my lord. Stay still. Yeah, this is supposed to be a scenic background. Actually, let me get some music. It's a little quiet. I don't know how loud this is, but I'm gonna assume it's tolerable and not worry about it. And move myself to the right a little bit. But yeah, I just want to go through my footage. Honestly, this is more for myself, just so I can think out loud and kind of have it as a reference, I guess. That way everything's in just one spot, because they do intend on fully... Like, Sega is going to eventually do their own tournament that they're going to set up, because this one was community ran. And I know there are going to be more community ran tournaments. And because of that, I want to improve. I want to change, like, all the decks. Honestly, I'm going to make the music in-game. Where is it? BGM. There you go. Yeah, I want to improve, and I just want to do better. And yeah, there's a lot of decks I kind of just have. They're just waiting. Kind of on standby for now. But eventually, I just want to get the new cards and like just add it in. Keep experimenting with what we have, because I actually don't have all the cards yet. Because there was a good few weeks, I think, like before the tournament was announced, where I did not farm for cards. So I actually really am lacking cards. There's quite a few that I wanted. For example, I could go ahead and show specific cards that I don't have. So like if we go in dark, there is a card here called Dudu or Dudu or something. I don't have them. Not at all. And like I only have one Theodore, but I have 3 Sarahs, so it's kind of like a pain. Because there's so many times where I wanted low costs. Like I just wanted to stun the center. As you can see here, it shows the effect. So there's so many times where I wanted to stun the center, but I just had to spend more like photon power than I actually wanted to. So the stuff like that is kind of annoying, unfortunately. Just not having the right cards. There's a card here in green that is like a 1 cost, and it moves multiple... Oh, fuck off, Crawford. And it moves multiple spots. which I so wish I had. And I did not put the song on repeat. I kind of like this song though. Oh, whatever, I'm putting it back. Okay, there. But yeah, there was a card here that I also desperately wanted. 3 Luther copies though. I've never used more than 1 copy of Luther in a deck. But it would be funny to have more than 1. I don't know if that would ever work though. For this deck in particular, I really wanted more copies of Io, but I just haven't been able to do that. Is that a phone call? No way. Wait, my mic didn't. Alright, that was quick. Yeah, someone called... A friend called me for a favor. It's like, dude, I live an hour away. I can't help you. I think he forgets. What was I even saying? I think red... I don't think there's actually any card here that I want more of, to be honest. Yeah, I genuinely don't think... It's mostly like ice, dark, I need more Theodores, so like, it's mostly duplicates, that's the only thing. But anyway, I kind of want to move into actually talking about the matches themselves. So, the way the tournament worked was that there's 4 servers. So, in these 4 servers, every single one had a tournament. And the tournament is single elimination, and it's single elimination all the way to the finals within that server, or ship. So I was in Ship 4, I participated all the way through the Ship 4 tournament, and the winner of each ship goes against each other. And I managed to get 3rd in total. Like when I went against the other ships, and then 1st for Ship 4, which was super surprised. Like, I didn't think I would get that far. I thought I would have lost. I actually was heavily expecting to lose the first match, and that's primarily because the person who I went against is someone who I'm very certain I never won against a single time. At least I don't remember ever winning against them. So I fully expected to lose. Maybe round 1. And after that, I had no idea. So when that didn't happen, it was just up in the air whatever was going to happen, and I was just surprised. I was baffled. I think that's a good word for it. I was just completely baffled. And then there was... I just kept adjusting the deck too. Like, right before the tournament started, I was just sitting there just constantly fumbling with all the cards and switching things out and trying to optimize it. I paid off, for the most part. Yeah, it paid off in the end. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and get the video. Hold on, just give me a second. I'm not too used to putting, like, browsers on the screen, so that kind of confuses me a little bit. So bear with me a second while I get this up. The tournament footage is not mine. I'm going to be using what was live streamed. So the tournament organizer, Kagerisu, he had the grand finals where all the ship, like, what's the word? Champions, I guess? Went against each other, and then I'm going to be using Ghostly Yosha's live stream of specifically Ship 4 to go over my own footage. Since I didn't record anything, since originally I just thought I was Yeah, originally I just thought I wasn't gonna make it that far, so I didn't even bother. I didn't even bother recording or anything. Plus, it would have been distracting, so I actually didn't want to do that anyway. Anyway, without further ado, let me go ahead and get this up and running. So window capture. I think it'd be this one. Yep. Here's this one. I am gonna adjust it a little bit. Oh, it completely gets rid of my game. That's not what I wanted. Hold on, give me a second. I'll fix this. I will fix this. Here, window capture. How do people do this? I don't understand. Window capture, not automatic. Or actually fine. Automatic's fine. Capture cursor, yes. Capture audio? Huh? Doesn't the audio just always work? Whatever. There you go. Okay, this is more what I wanted. So I have this full screen and I'll actually mute the thing here. But this is actually the very first match that I did in the Linestrike Tournament. So right here, 2B is the opponent I assumed I probably would have lost against, since I actually never, to my knowledge, prior to this tournament, I have never won a single match, and I kind of just wanted to go over my hand and everything else. Maybe I'll have their, maybe I'll unmute. They're commentating.
Make poutine out of that fry. Not without me, right?
So yeah, Ghostly Yosha is the one who recorded all this. Actually, real quick. I feel like this is just good manners. I don't know. Here is their YouTube channel where I am using their footage on the stream. But yeah, I'm just gonna mute this for now. So yeah, this was the very, very first match of the tournament, and I am actually using a completely different deck than I normally use. So I'm playing down here. And normally I would use a fire and wind deck. That would be my main. And my second would be dark and wind. But since then, I actually, like right before the tournament started, I decided to change the deck completely. I made a brand new one where I use primarily dark and light. And so this was actually the very first time I utilized the deck. So this was half a test and half me, like I don't know. Like, I knew the deck in theory would work or should work, but I wasn't sure. I did realize problems with the deck down the line in the tournament. You'll see it. You'll see it. It's really embarrassing. I hate that match so much. I messed up. It's half me messing up and half me not getting the card I need because this deck doesn't have a lot of draw power. Which is actually really why I like, what do you call it? Wind and fire. So I place this card down. I don't know how to pronounce that. I'm not gonna bother. I place this card down in the center, and his whole thing is just to move the card down here towards the center. The reason why I would want to do that is because this deck in particular does have a lot of stuns in the middle. So this is just trying to make that happen forcefully. Of course, it's first turn, so realistically, there's no way for me to predict that someone would play something here. It's just a Hail Mary, and I just wanted damage. And TB ended up placing Seraphy, which would allow them to draw an extra card. So here is where I just decided to commit to the middle. And this is where they use Lily Pan, which is what gets my card to move to the left here. Yeah, I didn't want that. Or actually, was it Lily Pan that did that? Hold on. No, I did that. If I remember, they moved it back or something. No, they moved their card. That must have been a different match where something happened. There was a different match where I was moving this card, and they just kept moving it back to the center. It was so frustrating. Actually, I think I remember who I was up against when that happened. They used Malfoncina, but whatever. Anyway, I moved this card to the left, had attack, and had this card stay here. Whether this was a good idea, I don't know. But my main plan was just to try to confuse my opponent by constantly moving my cards, which is kind of what this deck was built around, just a bunch of movement. Which, considering it's a dark and light deck, you wouldn't expect it a lot, but this deck actually has a lot of movement for not only your own cards, but the opponent. That's why I decided to summon a card in the middle. Then, my opponent summons this card, I forgot what she's called. And Meow. Who's a pain. But yeah, I wanted to move the card to the right, but I didn't expect him to change it to Meow. I actually wanted to do more damage in the middle. And, I mean, at this point, since we're even health, as you can see, I only have 3 left, they have 3 left, and I'm dealing at least decent damage here, and it looks like TB had abandoned it. My main plan was either... Well, there's 2 main things I could do. I could either commit, and committing could have been really bad, because if you see 4 wind, which is easy Luther, and I end up losing one of my major cards for damage. So, there's either... It was either just move these 2 cards to the right and completely commit to the middle, or just fight. Or just fight for the right side and completely abandon the middle, try to move my card to the right. But yeah, well, I'll skip ahead here, and then we'll see what I end up doing, because I don't entirely remember. But like, it's coming back to me as I like play this. Because funny enough, when I was playing this, I was so locked in. I've never been that locked in ever in my life. Well, minus the poker tournament. But I was so locked in, dude. That never happens. That really does. Anyway, I decided to summon Mother, mostly for damage, but keep in mind, I didn't summon anything here, primarily because I assumed a Luther was going to happen. Which is why I wanted Theodore here, because I figured even if I lose some damage, it's not going to be as much, and maybe it'll just be helpful. Plus, Theodore will end up, what do you call it? Stunning the center. And since they have 5 PP, it only costs them 1 for Luther, and they have more than enough to summon something big here. So, Mother was here just to keep the damage, and with the stun, I assumed this would just be enough to take over the middle as soon as I could. And then this card. This is the card I need in my dark deck. Yeah, that card changed my plans entirely. So as you can see here, they swapped their card to the center using Kassra. I stunned the middle. So this kind of works as planned. Or at least it would have until this feed. Now, this moves my card to the right. Ruins my plan completely. And they have 3 cards in the center, so my center is gone. So this goes for me being at a good spot to just messing up. Although the Theodore did save me for 1 turn. So that is one thing to keep note. But they also have 6 photon power here. And I'm stuck at like 3. So this is a tough spot. Keep in mind, I know they have a dark deck. So I'm fully expecting a stun too. Which, not ideal. And I don't even bother with the left side at this point. I don't even think I summon anything on the left side. So I'm going to skip ahead just a little more. There it is. So, next turn, I summon a card here. At this point, I don't really expect Luther. So I wasn't too afraid of that. Yeah, I completely abandoned the middle. I wasn't going to fight for it. I just didn't see it as worth it. I had only 1 card here, and I only had 3 photon power anyway, so it just wouldn't have worked out. I would have lost very easily. And then, of course, Matoi, so there's a stun. Middle gets stunned, but it doesn't really matter to me. I abandoned the middle anyway. I was fully intent on attacking the right side. And So this is where I actually got confused. So, 2B actually forfeited, and although you can't see my cards, I do remember my plan because I was sitting there using up the entire timer. Like this was one of those moments where I was just extremely locked in because this timer was like gone when I was thinking of my plan. But I actually had Persona and Matoi in my hand, and I had 5 photon power, so I had enough to summon them both by overwriting some of these cards here. So what was going to happen was, see how my attack is already higher? Even if one of these got stunned, I would have had Persona and Matoi, which would have stunned these 2 spots right here. So it actually would have been checkmate, regardless. 2B did forfeit. Now, granted, had I not had those cards in my hand, I would have probably lost, maybe. It would have just been a gamble. Like if I had Persona and they summon a card here, then I win pretty much. But they only had 3 PP as well, so maybe they just couldn't summon anything else. But yeah, it might have been just completely checkmate because they also had 3 cards here, which I'm assuming they couldn't have done anything. I actually kept notes on when the second game was, so I'm just going to skip to that. But yeah, that was the first game. I got lucky with my draw, especially at the end, being able to secure these 2 and make sure they're completely stunned. But yeah, that was the first game. I will go ahead and skip to the second game. If this is the game I think it is, this is the game where every time I tried to move my card, it kept getting put back into the middle. Or that might have been just like multiple games where that happened. I'm just remembering it all as one game. Because it happened so much to me. And no one would let me move my card. So this time I'm on top instead of down here. So I just summoned this one. I just wanted damage. There was really no reason to think that this was gonna... the effect for that card was gonna work on anything. And then my opponent waited. Of course, when you wait, you get the 3 photon power without, having spent anything. So now they're sitting at 6, and I'm sitting at 5, because I only spent a card with 1 photon power. So skipping ahead here, they go ahead and summon the worm, which moves the 2 cards in the center to the right. I do summon to the center. What I wanted to do was, of course, move this card to the center and deal damage here, but the worm ended up moving it to the right anyway. And their other card just moved the other one up. So, I mean, it wasn't according to plan, but I just dealt pretty decent damage to the right side anyway. So I saw it as whatever. Wasn't the original plan, but I can manage. That was kind of what I thought about it. But normally, like I said earlier, I just like to move my cards a lot just to confuse people. Here, I actually did expect a summon in the center. Or more like I was hoping, actually. I think it's better to say I was hoping, because there's really no way to tell. I actually wasn't expecting my opponent here to be saving as much photon power, because look, they have 7 right now. And this is where it starts scaring me, because they have dark and fire. So they could just throw out a bunch of stuns now. Huey could come up at any time, or Claire's Clays. So there was a lot that could happen. And I am noticing I'm kind of being pressured, especially on the left side. And I no longer have any reason to stay on the right. So here I'm trying to think, what exactly can I do? What exactly is my opponent going to do? If Huey was to come up here, then taking over the middle kind of would have been useless. Because I don't have any fire cards. And fire cards easily have the highest DPS. So trying to contest fire cards in a DPS battle was just not ideal. And of course, my opponent here made a really good... Huh? Oh, I forgot I made that thing. Hello, Billy. How's it going? I actually need to move this down if it's blocking the way. Wow. Let me move this down. Thank you for resubscribing. 22 months. Holy crap. It's really been that long? This is insane, actually. What have you been up to, man? I'm just explaining the tournament that I did yesterday, and how the matches went and everything else. Kind of explaining my thought process as well as I was going through it. But yeah, it's really nice to see you. Jesus, 22 months. Acquired a silly Valve game. Then been getting into Minecraft. Hell yeah. Wait, silly Valve game? VR Valve game? You have VR now? Did you always have VR? I forgot what I was saying. Oh yeah. They summoned the weaker card in a center, which was a great call because very big chance it could be stunned. Granted, this card here could have been stunned too if I had Hagrid, but I you know, I didn't have Hagrid, and not in this moment anyway. Deadlock? What is Deadlock? I need to look that up later, actually. It's a Valve game? Huh. And then for what I summoned here, so like I said earlier, contesting fire decks on damage is just not ideal, so I completely abandoned that and moved this card to the left here, because this card only had one here, and I pretty much expected Huey or some other card here, so that is why I decided to commit completely to the left. Oh yeah, this is one of the games where that happened, and then they move it back. And that screws my plan a little bit. It's a game that allegedly exists, and that's in playtesting. Yeah, wait a minute. How do you join the playtesting? Allegedly. On the game that allegedly exists. I might need to find this out real quick. Yeah, my plan here was kind of screwed. Gotta get an invite from someone who has it. So, Hillbilly, I think you wanna... I think you might want to I think you might send someone an invite. Oh, actually, does Siren have it? Does Siren like? I can if you want. I'm not gonna lie, that's actually super tempting. But we'll see. I don't know how many invites you can give. But if it's a limited amount, then have someone else have it. No, I won't be able to stream it at all. Yeah, I don't mind. It's probably going to be like a free-to-play game anyway, so I don't mind waiting. I mean, some buddies already have it. Hell yeah, dude. Here my opponent summons Matoi and Azanami. So this card right here, I forgot his name. It's not Huey. Zeno? He's gonna get moved to the left. And then Matoi's gonna stun my Matoi. I, of course, start to commit to the left side. And they sort of abandon the middle. Of course, I stun their card, they stun mine. And that stun actually saves my left side. That left side would have been lost. And since they abandoned the middle, they didn't take it, so now I'm sitting at 1 health on 2 different rows. Which means I am so close to losing. It takes like 1 slip up. So at this point, I have to commit to one side. For sure. Either I commit to the left or the middle. And if I don't commit, if I try to spend my resources thin, I'm screwed. And of course, the middle has more opportunity to be moved. It has more problems. So here's kind of what I'm thinking. If they have Harriet, my Matoi gets moved to the center, and I'm screwed. And there's like a multitude of cards that can screw up the center. And they have exactly 3 photon power, which means they have more than enough to mess with the middle. And since I have more resources on the left side, I'm pretty sure I decided to commit to the left side. So, as I predicted, the middle's going to get stunned. Doesn't matter to me because I decided to go here and I summon my own Harriet. Because the way I see it, if they change this into Harriet, if they change this into Harriet and then they decide to change this into Huey or something else, then I at least want to get more damage and completely move Huey out of the way. That way I can deal more damage. So middle gets stunned, but I don't care. I move Xuna out of the way, and then that allows me to secure at least this interaction. So now we're both sitting at 1 health. Wait, real? Wait, that meme I saw was real? I thought it was a joke. I'm looking this up later. What? Wait, hold on. I'm getting a separate tab open. No way. Link in gen- Oh, wait, you put it on the server? That's... Wow. Yeah, 2021 body cam arrest footage. I'm watching that. Later, though. I'm watching it later, but I'm definitely watching. I'm surprised that wasn't released earlier. Maybe because of the court case? I mean, no, they release police footage anyway. I don't know. But I'm definitely watching that. That is awesome, dude. Wait, how much does my opponent have? Photon power? Okay, they have 4 photon power. So at this point, I'm thinking Harriet has to show up. Or at least, like, Mother or Claire's Clays. Like, 2nd generation. Or maybe they put a card here. So that's what I'm thinking at this time. And of course, I have stun cards that can at least take out, I think, Matoi. Just a VTuber face-off? So this is actually a tournament in the game Phantasy Star, where we're playing a card game called Linestrike. So these are the commentators. So this one right here, who I'm circling, Kagurisu, is the tournament organizer. And for specifically my server, Ship 4, let me make sure I get his name right. Ghostly Yosha, like streamed the Ship 4 tournament. So I actually won the Ship 4 tournament. And when I went against the other winners of every other ship, I ended up getting 3rd place. So I'm just going over my matches here, pretty much. And then later, I intend on playing Yakuza. So here they summon Matoi, which will stun my Matoi. But the way I saw it, I assumed this Matoi was going to be thrown out by Harriet. So I just fully... Or, was it this side? Whatever. So I just fully committed to these 2. Mother would end up buffing Persona, and Persona will completely negate this card right here. Which I assume this was the card that was going to get buffed. Which, or over summoned or whatever. So in a way, it kind of ended up working out in my favor, since I accounted for Matoi being taken out of the equation anyway, and then I ended up winning this match as well, which is really tough. All these, like, none of these games were ever easy. I felt like all of my games were hard. I never felt like sometimes when you're just doing a random match, you like turn off your brain and like you just play, right? Like you just kind of go on autopilot. I felt like every single match I went in, I was not given any liberty to just go on autopilot. I mean, it made it fun, but it was kind of exhausting. So here again, I'm on the top, and my opponent's down here. So skipping ahead a bit, because I think we take a while. So here, my opponent draws a card. I go with the same strategy, because if it's not broken, don't fix it. So I got lucky, and I'm able to move their card to the center. And of course, my card overpowers theirs. Now, at this point, I'm thinking they are not going to summon anything over this win card, because they likely assume that I'm going to stun it. Hydrate? Where's my water? Oh, I have some. Okay, there it is. This water is a little... whatever. Alright, I drank some water. Hydrated. So yeah, I assume that they wouldn't summon anything here. Just because they probably assumed I'm gonna summon. Or summon Theodore or something else to stun it. So I think my initial assumption was that they were probably gonna try to commit to another lane, because I kind of just screwed up the middle. They did not do that. And then I summoned this card up here, because I was under the assumption that they wouldn't commit to this lane. And they end up moving my card to the right. So this did not work out in my favor. But, you know, it's the beginning of the match. Now I have 5 photon power. So there's still a lot more I could do. But now realizing how much they want the middle, it's kind of... Now I realize I could fight for it, or I could stun it, and it might actually affect them in some way. But yeah, my initial reaction was that, or my initial thoughts were that they weren't going to try to fight for the middle there. And here is where I decide, alright, screw it, I'll just fight from the middle. So they move one card to the left, I stun the center, and yeah, I decide to take over the middle. And they did move this card to the left, which did make me lose some damage. Although I think they didn't anticipate that I would fight for the middle as well. So this actually ended up working in my favor in a huge way, because as you can see, I'm applying a lot of pressure in all of their bases down here. So now the middle's almost gone for them. The right side is, 2 health, and now the left side's even getting health taken away. And of course, I could have over-summoned on Rudith, the light card on the top left, anytime. So I think that's also why they wanted to move it out of the way. Just in case I decided to summon a much bigger card. But yeah, I had different plans. And then skipping ahead here, I have this card. So I decide... Oh, this is that Malfoncina play that's kind of screwed me. I decided to play this card, which allows me to move my own cards away. So I try to move to the left. Then they had Malfoncina, which I was not expecting. And then it moves it right back. Which was not what I wanted. So this really screws me, because now my middle is completely gone, and I have to commit to the left and right. At this point, because of how high the attack power of this one is, I assume they wouldn't do anything on the right. And if I remember correctly, I completely committed to the left side here, but I could be wrong. Or actually, I think no, I had a movement card. I had a movement card that allowed me to commit to both sides, actually. Oh, they actually used... Yeah, so I had these 2 cards right here, both movement cards. So I moved my ally to the right, and this card down. And they had this card right here, which would have moved my card to the right anyway. So this would have been what I wanted regardless. Plus, I didn't have any cards that would move this to the left. But yeah, I just wanted to get rid of this side as fast as possible, which is why I moved it to the right. Although technically now I have less resources here, but we're about even because I have a 1 and a 3, and I have two cost cards. And I think here I just stun the hell out of them. Yeah. Obviously, Luther came out, which I anticipated, which is why I summoned on the front row. And I did do this because I assumed they were going to move this red card to the left somehow. So I wanted to move it back to the center. That, and I just wanted more damage in case Luther didn't actually show up. But yeah, they ended up swapping, but it doesn't matter. This effect still takes place anyway, and I would have lost had I not had Persona here and stunned this card. And since they only had 1 health, that was able to win me the game. Yeah, I'm sure you'll notice this like every single time, but once it reaches the end of the game and as the game keeps going on longer, I'll usually only have like 2 to 3 cards in my hand. This deck had no draw power. And of course, I mean, I made this not too long before the actual tournament started. So I was aware of that, but I had no way to fix that at the moment. And I didn't want to fix that exactly, because then I would be spreading myself thin. The way I kind of, especially with how small the decks can be and how fast these matches are, I wanted the deck to just be good at one thing, or yeah, like one main thing, and not have it be multi-purpose. Because the way I see it, if the deck is multi-purpose, especially in such short games, you have way less of a chance of drawing the cards you need at that moment. So I go with reliable again, summoning right in the center like before. And of course, I have a lot of movement cards for the center. If you notice, every single game I always have movement cards that will move the centerpiece. So for me, summoning in the center pretty much always worked out. And yeah, I could summon left, right, and like a few other places and move it across the screen. But I forgot they had like Twitch rewards going on. Let me just skip through that. So here they had Malfencina. I was going to move my ally to the left. I didn't expect this card to show up, but it kind of just worked out. So now I got what I wanted, which was to move left. And I think here I kind of wanted to intentionally avoid Luther in the future, since Luther is just such a strong card. Luther will single-handedly win you a game a lot of time. Although movement cards can also, like Luther, can also single-handedly make you throw a game. Because you could potentially misplay and accidentally put a way stronger card in an area you actually don't want it. And this is where I summon this card right here. I forget the name. Decor. We're gonna call him Decor then. And they summon Dudu, which or Dudu. I don't know his name. So this is where I decided to move to the right. They moved this card to the right, which worked out for me. I actually wasn't expecting Dudu to be there. So this kind of just worked out in my favor in a weird way. Like I said, I always like to keep switching. And since they had more resources here, especially with the 3 card, I kind of wanted to move right anyway. But I was also considering the fact that Luther could just show up any second. So it was like playing through this and knowing that Luther could show up any moment just kind of makes it a lot harder. Because you're always thinking, when is Luther going to show up? Oh, I just completely pressed a button on my mouse and screwed up. But yeah, I was always thinking, when is Luther going to show up? Like every single second. And that's always in your head. The moment you see a win card, you just think, alright, where's Luther? When's Luther going to completely screw up these 4 squares here? So skipping ahead here. I decide I want to stun the middle. And also just have more attack power here. But I was also expecting Luther, so I wanted like my damage to stay the same if Luther ever showed up. Of course, they had Asanami here, which will move their card to the center, and there is Luther. So the right's gone. I stun the middle, and I get swapped because I was half expecting Luther anyway. And at this point, I'm not really afraid of Luther anymore because nobody, well, not nobody, but the chances of another Luther coming up is so low because you almost have no reason to ever have another Luther. Although granted, if they did, I would have been screwed. Because I don't think I had any way to move these cards to the left. At least, maybe not on my hand, because I don't remember my hand anymore. And it doesn't show me on the bottom right here. Not when you're in spectator mode. And at this point, I mean, I might as well commit to the middle. They had Harriet, but since I did see this light card, I was expecting Harriet, which is why I summoned Sarah here to block off the Harriet movement and stun the middle. So this worked out. I ended up predicting correctly. But yeah, I did wish... I think I didn't have a smaller card to use, which is why I used a 3+. And this is just kind of how it worked out in the end. And of course, from here, I'm thinking I can use my own Harriet to get this out of the way, because I have this two cost light card here. Or I could just commit here and maybe have a stun card like Persona, or not Persona, Matoi. Maybe stun down here if they decided to do anything here. But that'll just be more of like a prediction thing. And of course, Harriet. I wanted more damage, so I put it here. And of course, they moved their card from the middle to the left, which would have had them win that interaction, but I ended up using Harriet to move their card. And then secured that, and this was the finals for Ship 4. And that's what ended up happening there. So now, okay, I hate this match so much. Alright, this one was when the winners of every ship went against each other. So I don't remember. I think this is ship 3. Let me mute. But yeah, I'm on top. My opponent is from ship 3, I think. Let's wait for me to check. Actually, yeah. Hold on. Let me back check myself real quick. Where is it? Yeah, I was right. They're from ship 3. Keep in mind, like, I've seen them play from the previous stream, but I did not, like, study the deck, unfortunately. I really wish I did. Actually, I didn't do that for any of the final contestants. Or at least not as thoroughly as I would have liked to. And this is where the problems with my deck start showing up. So you can't see my hand, unfortunately, and even if I show, like, my own spectating mode, it won't show it, which I really hate. I really wish I could show you the hand I had. But remember how I said my deck doesn't have a lot of draw power? Which is why I like Fire and Wind so much, because of the amount of draw power you have? Well, that means when you brick, or, you know, you don't draw the cards you need, you're just screwed. And you just kind of have to play with what you have. This will happen in any card game. Which is why I just like consistent decks so much, like Fire and Wind. Because with cards like Patty or Seraphy, being able to draw an extra card is so huge. And it makes the deck so much more consistent. I think one of the most important things especially is just having a consistent deck to use. I think that will win you more games overall. And then of course here they're using base busters. And I'm fully committing to the middle. And this side is gone. Like, it has 1 health left. This side is done. I don't even bother defending it. I skipped too far ahead. Alright, next turn. I actually, funny enough, I was not expecting a card in the middle. I just wanted Theodore here. Because I just wanted to start dealing damage to the left. It just so happened that this worked out. So yeah, I don't know if anyone thought, oh wow, he's crazy, he predicted this. I did not. But you could continue telling people I did. I wouldn't mind. But yeah, I ended up stunning the middle there. And at this point, I kind of have to protect the center, because knowing electric decks, they will move all the time. The way electric deck works, they usually pick one side. Sometimes they pick the middle, and then they might use Azanami or something. But they usually pick one side and then just move all the way across the board. Which, for electric decks especially, if you take control of the middle and get the middle as fast as possible, I mean, it's not a guaranteed win. But it does make it a lot easier, because then they have to spend more resources moving their cards. And also, if you have a fire deck, and you just directly contest them, like lane to lane, electric decks can't really do much, because their attack power is really low compared to fire, especially. I mean, everyone's attack power is really low compared to fire, but in general, electric decks just struggle with the damage output. But, you know, they can also take your base in a single turn. Well, 2 turns. So, skipping ahead here. I keep skipping too far ahead. So, they summon Apprentice, which I was not expecting. This one actually threw me off so much. I completely forgot this was a card that people used. So, this was, yeah. So, I completely wasn't expecting this. This threw me off a lot. And then I did try to stun the center, because like I said, I wasn't expecting this. But I also don't think I had anything to stun this anyway. So regardless, I was screwed. And of course, it wasn't enough damage. So this kind of screws me up here. At this point, my best bet is to either move these cards away, so I can continue. Well, actually, I can't even move it left, because it has 27 attack. And I only have 20. So I would have to either move it back or somehow stun it. And if I remember correctly, I didn't have the stuns I needed. And I also think they moved their card, so I think they outplayed me anyway. Oh yeah, hard outplay right here. You can see exactly where they outplayed me here. So the second Dark Falls Apprentice. Yeah, I was done. There's nothing I can realistically do. And yeah, I summoned Matoi. That was mostly for damage, because like I said, I didn't have any of the other stuns I needed. Like Hagrid or... I don't even know who would stun this. Does anyone stun this? I don't remember off the top of my head. But I don't have any cards that would deal with this. So I was screwed. So yeah, from here, I was just dead. And then that lost me that turn. And now this turn, oh my god. Okay, so I'm on the top again. This one I screwed up. Very bad. So I stuck with the same deck, and I was running into the same issue of not getting the stun cards I needed. Like I said, lack of draw power will really screw you over. And there was a huge misplay I made at the end, which I would have lost anyway, because I didn't have the stun cards, but I just made it look like really bad. Like I made it, what do you call it? You know what? You'll just see it. So they're using Tia, which gives them 1 extra photon power. So you can see they're sitting at 5. And of course, these cards are really strong. So it's also that. I decided to summon Azanami and just try to commit to left and right. I did not do the math for this, so that was me messing up as well. But the way I saw it, I could at least like tribute summon and maybe get something better out of this. But yeah, I should have done the math for this before making this move. So this was my first, like, for sure mistake. It didn't matter, like it didn't matter if I had like certain cards or not. I don't think I should have made this play. I think committing to the right and middle was fine, but having the cards here was a bad idea. And of course now they have like 8 photon power, so I was so screwed. And here is where they start summoning more things. They really commit to the left side here. I also wanted to commit to the left side here. They move one of my cards to the center and debuff. And from here, so we haven't seen this interaction before, so I'll explain it. Whenever the attack is the same, both cards attack at the same time. Of course, I lose the left side here. And yeah, that debuff really hurts me. And then the right side, I'm about to take over, but I pretty much have to fight for the middle now. And this is where I make like the worst play of my life, which we'll see right here. Yeah, right here. So keep in mind, at this point, I lost. I did not have any stun cards in the middle that were useful for the middle row. Actually, I never drew Hagrid. Now thinking about it. Throughout the entire tournament, I never drew a single Hagrid. And I only have 1 copy of Hagrid in my deck because of how niche that spot is. Huh. I only just realized that. I never drew a single Hagrid. But anyway, Huey shows up. I summoned this card because I just wanted more damage. And I summoned this card because I thought, hey, maybe I'll just... I don't even know. I don't even know why I summoned this card, actually. I think it was because I thought maybe they would summon right. I don't even know why I thought that. So that's another huge mistake. I shouldn't have done that. But I shouldn't have done that in this order. I should have summoned Harriet first and then this, because you'll see why. Because I summoned it in the order I did, I moved this card here. And if we if we remember what Harriet does, it moves this card right here to the right. So it looks like I threw when I actually just didn't when I summoned it in the wrong order. And on top of that, I was screwed anyway. Because if you see earlier, the damage difference. So yeah, summoning that card, it wouldn't have done anything. I lost regardless of this move, but the move just made me look so bad. So yeah, I completely lost that. So at this point, the way this tournament worked, it was only best of 3 for this from this point on. Which is why I played the same person twice. And the person who lost the first match and the person who lost the second match go against each other. So I lost, and now we have to compete for third. Normally there's like a loser's bracket in like standard tournament format, like when you're doing best of 3 and all that. But since it was best of 1 for the first part and only best of 3 for this last part, we had it so the first 2 people that lost, so in this case, Kajaf and me, would fight for third. So I had to go back and just completely lock in. So at this point, I am realizing how detrimental it is that my deck is not as consistent as I like it to be. And I also remember watching their match from earlier. They had a lightning deck. And I'll be damned if I didn't try to counter that, especially after seeing the inconsistencies with my deck. So I decided to switch my deck completely to a fire and wind deck. Because like I said earlier, since electric has a very hard time countering high attack power, I figured I might as well use that to my advantage. So from here, I decide to open up. Now keep in mind I'm at the top, so I summon Patty, which allows me to draw a card. And since it has pretty good damage, I figured summoning in the middle was fine. I wasn't expecting them to have any stun cards or anything like that, since they're mostly electric. So another thing, like I said this earlier with electric cards, or the electric deck, if you take over the center, it takes them way more effort to try to move their cards around, like the electric cards. And since I knew their deck so well, I was just already preparing. So I saw Get 'em Holt, I did not care. I immediately tried to get damage onto the right side as well, and get more damage into the center, while getting my win cards prepared, like Luther and Malfoncina and other win cards. And so, skipping ahead a little more, so I knew at this point, because they already damaged this, they're going to start moving the cards to the right. So I summon the worm, as I call it. This one. How do I pronounce this? Gatrodon? Or something like that? I immediately summon him, because I knew this was going to happen. So Get 'em Holt moves. This moves. Catadron moves these two to the left. And that's huge for me. So I immediately take over the middle. And I'm pretty sure at this point it's just game. There's really nothing you can do at this point, because I can just summon Huey. And that's guaranteed win. You really can't do anything against that at this point. Me moving these cards was actually very huge. And that's purely because I just knew to the deck that well, and knew what their game plan was. It was a knowledge check more than anything. Now at this point, I just didn't want this card to move like here, like to the right, so I just summoned that one and called it a day. Because they also only had 4, yeah, photon power, so I wasn't too afraid of any card that would be here. And the way I saw it, even if that was like a misplay, I had way more than enough health to just tank it and then just win the next round. So yeah, that ended up winning me the first round here. And then we go against each other again. This time I'm at the bottom. I stick with the same deck. They change their deck because, well, I countered. I countered it, so. And this time I think it's a multicolor. It's like a rainbow deck, if I remember correctly. So they summon Tia, gives it 1 more photon power. I just wanted to continue with the same strategy. And then just like my other... so I actually just wanted to move this to the right because I thought they would summon something here in the center. They actually summoned up here. I'm assuming because they knew I had this card. So that was a good play. But yeah, they use Malfoncina, which I move their card to the right, and they move my card to the right as well. So funny enough, this actually didn't work out too well for them. Sort of. We trade in the middle, because it's the same damage, and I start dealing damage to the right. But yeah, Malfoncina has been like the bane of my existence a lot. There's so many times where I'm trying to make plans and then Malfoncina shows up. It was never Luther that ever screwed me over. It was always Malfoncina, it seems like. Actually, Luther does screw me over one time. And it's not even because of his effect. It was because... It was in this match, actually. It wasn't because of his effect. It was because of his attack. I think. Yeah, because you'll see later. So here, I decided to summon this guy, because I wanted this thing out of the way. And they use Azanami, so it actually would have went to the left anyway. So in this moment, that was what I wanted, so I just figured, whatever. I was just going to fight for the right and the middle, and then try to win that way. But, of course, I have to keep in mind, they have win cards. So that means Luther can show up anytime. So this is, since I have 3, I'm sitting here thinking, what can I do to counter a Luther? And I'm thinking, well, if I summon Huey, he's just going to get moved to the left. And if I summon Luther, he'll get moved to the right. Now, of course, they had 4 photon power. So I should have realized this earlier, but they would have had way more opportunity to, like, overpower me. Because they had 2 cards here that were higher photon power costs anyway. And I think, if I remember, I summoned I summoned Huey here. Or Claire's Clays? I don't remember. Oh yeah, I only had 3 photon power, so I couldn't anyway. So I summoned Huey here. And then, does Luther show up? I don't remember. Luther shows up later. So they're committing to the left side. I take over the middle. And then I attack the right. At this point, so I have 4 photon power. Yeah, this is where I put Luther here. Because I'm thinking they're going to summon Luther and have me switch. But they actually end up getting a... Yeah, they actually end up dealing way more damage on the right side. And that's because of this card right here. So I switched them. Which, keep in mind, me summoning Luther was a good play anyway. Because if Luther had stayed here, I would have easily lost. Because I'm going to lose the right side here. So my Luther play, which I thought was a misplay at first, I realized saved me the game. But anyway. So left side has 1 health. I completely lose the right side. So in the moment, I thought I made a huge misplay. When actually I realized I just saved my game in such a huge way by getting rid of Luther. Moth Propaganda. It's been a while. How's it going? Hell yeah. We love card games. Dueling time. Right now I'm just going over the tournament matches I was doing. This is actually This is the... What do you call it? This is for 3rd place. Me and this dude are competing for 3rd place, and yeah. What game is this? So the card game is called Linestrike, but it's inside the game Phantasy Star. So you can just play it all in-game and whatnot. So like this right here in the background, this is Phantasy Star. But yeah, Linestrike is within this game. Hell yeah. So from here, I have 1 health left. They have a full health bar. And we both have the same amount of photon power. Now, since I'm a fire deck, naturally I summon Claire's Clays right here. Now, the reason why I summoned Claire's Clays here is because I knew they have an ice deck. And if they had Cuna, it would have debuffed me in like these spots. And since I knew that, I wanted to avoid summoning here, and I instead wanted to summon up here. So I go ahead and summon Claire's Clays. They summon Cuna. And they miss the buff. Or the debuff, my bad. So I end up winning that small interaction. At this point, I summon Malfoncina because I assumed that they were going to summon something right here. And I was right. And so this play won me the game. I switched that out. Attack again. And at this point, it's game. Unless they can move Luther or Claire's Clays back. Like, they lost pretty much. Now, since I only have 3 photon power, I could either summon here, or I could just overwrite summon, and I summon Castra instead, just for pure damage. Because the way I saw it, if I summon here and they had like a card that would move it to the side, I probably would have lost, so I wanted to play it safe and use Castra instead. Is it now the time to return to Yu-Gi-Oh? I can give you a crash course on how messed up the current meta is. Oh boy. I haven't played Yu-Gi-Oh in a year. In February 2023. That is the last time I played Yu-Gi-Oh. Yeah, I summon Castra here. They summon Io, which they missed the buff. Or debuff. And then that wins me the game. And this is what secured me 3rd place. in the tournament. This was a lot of fun doing all of this. But yeah, this one's an insane amount of fun. Yeah, now I'm potentially gonna get like a Rappy plush. See this creature? Hold on, let me look up. PSO2 Rappy plush. For my trouble, I might be getting one of these plushies and some in-game premium currency, which is sick. I'm more excited for this. You have no idea how badly I wanted this plush. It'd be incredibly funny to show you the stupid stuff possible now. Yu-Gi-Oh's even more insane now. How could it be more insane? Like, I remember when Sword Soul was the meta. Plushie in a jar? No. No jars. This plushie will be kept safely in a... I don't even know. I'll just put it next to my Gondola plush. I have like 3 Gondola plush. I have like a small one. I have a 6-foot one, which is hand sewn. And I have like a crocheted Gondola. No jars. No jars. No jars around my Gondola plush. Also, wait, are you serious about the 1-card win? No way. That's not real. That's like exaggerated, right? Like you're usually playing like Solitaire whenever you're playing Yu-Gi-Oh. No way. What card? What card? What's the 1-win card? How do they mess up the meta? Alright, let me close this. Yeah, anyway. The Linestrike tournament was insanely fun. Current top meta deck can go full combo of 1 card. What? Snake Eye Ash? Hold on, I'm looking this up right now. Snake Eye Ash. You gotta be kidding me. If this card is normal special summon, you can add 1 level 1 fire monster from your deck to your hand. You can send 2 face-up cards you control the graveyard. Including this card, special summon 1 Snake Eye monster from your hand or deck. What? And then you can just summon... Wait, you can summon any Snake Eyes? Wait. From your hand or deck. And then you can immediately summon, like, Snake Eyes Flamberge Dragon. Or Diabella Star. Immediately. Which are level 8 monsters. Who is making these cards? That is insane. What? What the hell, man? What the hell? This is why I don't play Yu-Gi-Oh! But, just to kind of have, like, closing thoughts, for the tournament, because I do want to play Yakuza today. The tournament was insanely fun. What do you call it? And having the very first one be against all ships as well was such a great idea. I do hope it happens again. However, I know logistically it is hell. Let me check how long the VOD was. So like just the final, so like keep in mind it was single elimination until like the grand finals where all the winners from the 4 different chips compete against each other. Like the stream was like 2 hours just for us 4 doing best of 3 or something. Or best of 2. Whatever the terminology is. That was almost 2 hours. Keep in mind some of that was prep and other things like that because we had to make characters. But yeah, this would have taken forever had it been best of 3 or whatever for everyone, and then we all group up together. So honestly, the best of 1 was a good call. It was a very good call for time. And this was also the first, so it makes sense. I know future tournaments are likely going to be just, stick with their ships, and then they'll be best of 3, which would be really cool. And I believe Sega's going to be doing their own tournament that they're going to be setting up. Yeah, whenever another tournament happens, I'm definitely participating. 100%. I fully intend on farming NPCs to get all the card vouchers I need. It's gonna be hell. But I'll do it anyway. I will do it anyway. It's nice to have like a more casual, not casual, like, I don't know what the word is. Less complicated, I guess. Like card game to play, especially within Phantasy Star. Great idea. Just a casino, please. I would love a casino. More simple? Yeah, I guess. I guess that's a good way to put it. The deck just slices through hand traps like they're butter. So Ash is useless? Ash Blossom? Real? Is Ash Blossom even still used? I haven't played in a year, man. I don't know. But yeah. I hope to participate in future events and still get decent placing. Ash Blossom is useless against Snake Eyes? Jesus, dude. Yeah. I might never play Yu-Gi-Oh! They just get stronger? That sounds like hell, man. I don't know, that's hell. I couldn't do that. I couldn't play that. Also, as a funny side note for the tournament, every single time I had a match, I would listen to this song and be insanely locked in because my deck was dark-based anyway, and Persona had actually... The Persona card, who you see in this video, has won me a few games. Ash plus Impermanence kills most Snake Eyes hands. Okay. So you can still kind of counter it. I mean, you said most. So there's gotta be something that they can do still, surprisingly. But yeah. I now want to play Yakuza so bad. So give me a second and I will switch to games. The deck is insanely strong, but not unbeatable. Yeah. I'd do it. Okay, so real quick, a Master Duel in TCG is just stronger. Huh? Really? Alright, so here's the thing. I am streaming on Twitch and YouTube at the same time. And I want to keep the Yakuza stream and this stream separate. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly end stream, take a small break, and then come back. It's a scuffed way of doing it, but it just works. So I'm going to do that. They have an entire second engine that's even more bonkers. I could never play Yu-Gi-Oh! Again. But yeah, real quick. Oh, you're at work? Huh? Wait. What the hell? How are you watching? Yeah, my break won't be too long. It'll be like 10 minutes. Actually, it'll be... Actually, maybe I could take a longer break. Maybe I could go get like a drink from the gas station. I can play a deck now that just summons a guy that says the opponent can't play during their turn. Yeah, that sounds like Yu-Gi-Oh! On me phone. The phone would do it. 100%. So here's what I'm thinking. I will end stream, and I will for sure play Yakuza in a bit. I might go get food or like walk to the gas station for a drink or something. Sounds like a plan. I'll be back in about... I'm gonna send you a friend code Gondola for my Steam, and I can shoot you and play test. Ooh, hell yeah! I'll talk to you on Discord. That's sick. Wait, is this game gonna be... Actually, wait. I'll just talk to you about this off stream. But yeah, I'm gonna end stream, and I'm going to I will stream Yakuza later, like soon, like an hour at most, like an hour later at most. That's what I meant. Hopefully that makes sense. You have a good one, Moth, and have fun at work, or try to anyway. Try home safe, all that. Oh, I should probably read this. The 10 Montenegrin commandments to close out the stream. A man is born tired and lives to get a rest. Love thy better, you love thyself. Rest during the day so you can sleep at night. Do not work. Work kills. See someone resting, help him out. Work as little as you can, convey all the work you can into another. In shade is salvation, nobody died from resting. Work earns illness, do not pass away young. If you have an urge to work, sit down, wait, you will see it will pass. When you see people eat and drink, approach them. When you see them work, withdraw yourself not to trouble them. That was a very quick reading of that. Anyway, I will see you all in like maybe an hour at most. Eat well, sleep well, drink water. And goodbye. Also, just to clarify, I will be streaming the hell's the official title? I just call it Yakuza, but it's not called Yakuza anymore. Like a Dragon, Infinite Wealth. That's what I will be streaming. For how long? I don't know. I'll figure it out. I at least like to stream those games to like 4 hours at least. But anyway, bye.